So I recently saw a demon, and now I see them everywhere. But for me, seeing this thing in that way was a blessing. I think anytime you can see something common in a different way, if it wakes up your mind and offers a new way to solve problems, it's not such a bad thing. So maybe this will help you too. Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Moleski. This is my YouTube channel. It's been a minute, but I have to wait for topics to find me and then I have to think about them. Sometimes that takes a long time. I'm sorry. I recently spent time with a good man possessed by a bad thing, and that's all I'll say because it has less to do with that thing, that experience, than it does with you and me and what we can get from it. But I will tell you, on the car ride home from spending time with this friend, I struggled, and I'm not even the one who was possessed by this particular demon. And I vented to my companion, who was also really wound up, contrary to his baseline disposition. Here's what happened. I started through a very strong temptation to put the blame of my mood, my shitty attitude, my angst, my negative feelings onto my friend, who wasn't even there. My heart rate was high. I was tense. I was pissed off. A mood I don't often find myself in. I don't like it. The entire feeling struck me as wrong. It felt like I wasn't in control. I was releasing something through venting, but the more I vented, the more it filled up. It was very abysmal. Maybe you've had an experience like this. I don't know. But in that moment, I wasn't aligned with myself, with my life's philosophy, which is self-responsibility and no blame. Why was I allowing myself to feel these feelings? I don't know. So when I realized this, I had a quick conversation with myself. It went something like this: Jennifer, who is the only person you have responsibility for? You. How are you handling that right now? Poorly. You're blaming someone for your mood who's not even here. Are you that weak? Is it that easy for someone to control you? No. The answer is no. So at that moment, I put myself where I actually was, and I focused on what I could rein in, which was myself. And it worked quickly. So once back to normal, a question came to me. How would one know if they were possessed by a demon? And to answer that, I had to define what a demon was. I'll define demon. The disruption of purity. I haven't completely went through this with a fine-tooth comb yet, but so far it's checking out. And if you have a different definition than demon, let me know. I don't care what you use. I'm using demon. All right, so then also, what is purity? I would say that purity is who we naturally are. We are not born racist, angry, mad, spiteful, hateful. Those feelings happen through possession. Okay, and it's true that we're not all equal in intelligence, humor, wit, charm, charisma, looks, but we're all born possessing everything needed to feel peace and calm and purity. We all have the ability to take self-responsibility to direct our inner monologue and outer actions and steer away from that which is harmful. I will say it's not easy. It's not easy to muster a genuine desire to actually control ourselves. Blame, anger, contempt are far cheaper ways to justify any angst we have, but it's not a pure way to handle our lives. If peace is something we naturally possess, but we allow it to be disrupted, we're to blame. And if we purposefully seek out ways to disrupt our purity, then we are fundamentally in the wrong. We're looking for a way to justify our evil actions or thinking. And I'm sure all of us have found ourselves overtaken by something or some things that when we look at ourselves in the mirror, figuratively or literally, we find our peace, our tranquility, our purity is gone or dim or disrupted. And when that particular thing that has disrupted us, or multiple things have disrupted us, and we've allowed it to, we've hosted ourselves a demon. If you don't possess yourself on purpose with integrity every day, at some point, you will become possessed by an ideology or a person. That's not good. So part of the reason, I think, why people do that is they need companionship. They need to feel a sense of belonging. They need to feel welcomed. They need to feel that they're important, that they personally make a difference. And if you can't do that for yourself, number one, or your well-chosen community, be it the family you create or the friends you earn or the garden you have created or the farm you're the steward of, the need doesn't go away. You will find a way to get that need met, or you'll fill the void in an attempt to forget it's even there. Not good. I reckon demons are the same way. They want companionship. They want fellow demons to join in the festivities of this dimension hosted by us lovely humans. Would you like some examples? This is the rest of the video is examples, okay? We're going to touch on a lot of things, like 7 things. So let's start with an easy one, the easiest one, an easy one, a pretty easy one. That's alcohol. Alcohol provides a feeling that you don't have to earn. You don't have to run or walk or accomplish anything big or feel proud. You don't have to look good. You just have to consume and poof, you're a new person. You can say things you couldn't say before. You feel sexier. You have more self-esteem. You can talk to more people easier because you're funnier. You're happier. But are you really? There's a downside to this demon. Yeah. When the alcohol demon first comes around, it wants company. I would call that drinking buddies. This is one way for the minions to gather. They're not strong enough yet to get you alone, so they work together to come together. And that's when real demonic things can be accomplished. If you have a little weak demon, it might whisper something in your ear. You're compelled to say it out loud. Everyone else is a little bit possessed and they think that would be a good idea. That would be fun. Let's do it. Not alone, but together. Let's do it together. You just want to have fun. And that's how small wickedness comes together. But eventually, if the demon has devoted enough time to their poor human host, then they can spend time together alone. Finally, they tag along with you to spend time with your friends, your family, your spouse. They're there for you when you come home from work. Sometimes they even hang out with you at work. They just love to be around you. And then your family gets mad, your spouse gets mad, your friends get mad, your job gets mad because they think your priorities are screwed up. But what do they know? Then one day you're just chilling with your little demon. He says, you know what, would you ask the kid to grab us a beer because I don't really feel like getting up? And that sounds like a good idea to you because you don't want to get up either. So now you've introduced alcohol to the child. Child meet alcohol. Alcohol meet child. Good job. The introduction has disrupted the purity of the child. And now the demon not only possesses you, but the family. Let's move on to one night stands. Promiscuity. Basically, sex before before a verbal contract of loyalty and commitment is stated. You're not going to like this one. I can hear you bitching. But just give me a second. So what is the true purpose of sex? I would say it's the best way to show someone that you love them. To share something amazing with someone who deserves it. Your partner. Now, what comes from sex with someone that you don't care enough about to commit to? What's the reason? Maybe it's to combat loneliness. But if one is feeling lonely, then they're lacking something vital, connection and meeting. Adults are meant to create connection, to express their love, to share their pleasure with someone they're proud of. With someone they want to be with someone that they deserve, who deserves them. Otherwise, it's a joke. It's play acting. It's pretend. It's useless. There are children out there who lose their virginity at an early age. Young, like really young. Why would any child do that? My guess is the same reason that an adult would be promiscuous. To connect to someone, anyone, to end the feelings of loneliness, even just briefly. But for a child, shouldn't the parents be providing that? The actual humans who created the small humans, shouldn't they be providing that? Can any one of you argue that parents are not meant to be responsible for their children? Ideally, the best scenario for everyone involved is two parents who have chosen each other wisely, not hastily, not desperately, who are well suited together, who are focused on their love and their relationship, and therefore create a relationship that is so solid they unify to bring up a child together, to raise a child. Sturdy, loving parents who show each other and their children their love, their wisdom, their loyalty through exhibition. They exhibit the behavior that they believe in. The parents can talk to each other. After all, they chose each other wisely. They share love and values and morals, so the bond grows. And because of the parents' health, and the fact that they're not possessed by anything wicked, the child can talk to mom and dad about anything, right? If there's trust, if there's no betrayal of trust, and if the parents are intelligent and open enough to discuss all things with the child, then the child won't be lonely. How can anyone feel lonely when there's people to talk to about anything who actually want to talk to you, who feel you belong to? The child feels connected to the family. That's how it should be. If mom and dad do their job of raising a child to be likable and thoughtful, full of thought, full of independent thought, then the parents will want to spend time with their child and make an effort to do so. Parents are responsible, I don't have to tell you this, parents are responsible for instructing, guiding, having fun with, coaching, mentoring their children, and to make the child's skin thick. No one who has a thin skin is ever safe and happy in their own bodies, and they'll employ actions to please others, which is a fast way to displeasing oneself. Not good. Good parents, the types of parents that I just said, they're a good repellent for demons. They're like deep for demon deet. Good parents are demon deet. How could a child need to get emotional needs met from an outside source, when they're met at home? And I'm not talking about friendship or socialization or outside interaction. I'm talking about deep emotional needs. But if these needs are not met at home, or if there are demons at home, look out. Because there is a cheap way to briefly experience connection. There's a cheap way to briefly experience the feeling of love. There's a brief way to extinguish the feeling of loneliness or to forget about the demons at home. It's sex. And because sex temporarily works, if someone uses it as a weapon to slay their woes, they will probably repeat that habit into adulthood. Okay, what's another reason one would engage in casual sex? Okay, I don't think casual sex is a good thing. I have a few reasons why. When you engage in casual sex, you're far more likely to accidentally create a child with a loser. And then you blame the loser that you slept with, and then the person that you slept with blames the other loser, and the child will end up blaming both of you, which is exactly where the blame should lie. Okay, now maybe you engage in casual sex for proof, to prove to yourself, your unpure self, your demon self, that you can conquer someone, that you're strong enough to get another to disrobe in front of you and give their body to you. And the more people you can do that with, the more evidence you have of your superiority, or that you're valuable to someone, or that you're wanted by someone, even briefly, that you're worthy of another person, not for who you actually are, but for a quickie. Great. Okay. And maybe someone who has engaged or engages in casual sex may become attached to the other person. Maybe you would become attached to the other person. Maybe they will. Now, there's two problems with this. Or there's a ton of problems, but there's two off the top of my head. When you choose someone with the sole intention of proving something to yourself or getting a base need met, or just being casual, you're choosing someone using a really low filtration system. They don't have to be funny or smart or kind or giving or loyal. They don't have to have good values that align with yours. They don't have to have good morals. They don't even have to necessarily be attractive. They just have to be willing. And what kind of a person is willing to give over their body to a stranger, or someone who doesn't really value them? Probably not someone who possesses great values themselves. Usually not someone who genuinely respects themselves. Now, this is general. There are plenty of people who have ditched their demon, but I'm trying to catch those of you who still have a demon on your back, just to piss it off. Because if you have a demon on your back, it's probably whispering to you right now, not to listen to me. I'm wrong. I'm evil. You're perfect. Keep doing it. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But fuck you, little demon. Now, what if you fall accidentally for that person? Let's say that sex is really good, like really good, and you want to do it again. So you want to see them so you can do it again. And then it was really good again, so you want to see them again to do it again. There are a lot of relationships that are created on this basis. And guess what? There's a lot of relationships that end because that was the basis. I hear a ton of people bitch about this. I hear people bitch about everything. Okay, the second problem with the last thing is the opposite. What if someone, you or the other person, falls for the person, but it's not reciprocated? What does that bring? It brings misery to one degree or another. Casual sex can more easily lead to misery, brought on from bad decisions, hedonistically derived decisions. Casual sex is more likely to lead to misery. Casual sex can lead to lower self-esteem. It can lead to not trusting yourself and your ability to make smart decisions. And if you can't trust yourself, who can you trust? It can lead to thinking that you're not valuable. It can lead to blaming the other person. Blame, which can turn to hate, which is all sorts of shit. It can lead to anger. It's not good. What if a child asked you what a one-night stand was? Now listen, we're not on child level here, but honestly, how would you say it? You'd have to say something like, well, it's when two people meet each other and they decide they don't like or respect each other enough to ever see each other again, but they are going to do the most intimate thing that two people can do together, just for a little bit. Some of you are like, yeah, it sounds good. All right, or whatever. Let's just apply this demon to more stuff. What about blame? Blame is demonic because it keeps you away from something. Do you know what that something is? Yourself. It distracts you from your life. It provides you evil allowances. I can do, feel, act, say X because of them. It gives you justification for acting poorly. Good job. Good deeds, right thinking never needs justification. Does it? I mean, have you ever really needed to justify an actual genuine good deed? A genuine good deed with no seed in there of anything bad? I highly doubt it. Why not? Because you are meant to be good. You are made up of peace. There is purity within you, and it's like water going down a creek. You don't have to justify that. It just is correct. People only ever justify bad behavior. So how about this? If you ever find yourself justifying behavior, particularly to yourself, it's probably been birthed by a demon. Watch it. Blame is attached to the demonization of others. Now, I don't care if it's warranted or not. If it's a distraction to you from your life, it's not good. Okay, what about control? That's a demon too. At first, the controller just wants to control their partner and then maybe their family and their friends and then anyone else that they can have control over. There's a saying that I like. It's power attracts the worst and corrupts the best. A low power demon will settle for a low power human. They control the person, and then the person controls what it can. Not much, which is still enough to create hell on earth for a small group of people. But what if a demon latches on to someone with a lot of power? Someone who runs a company or a city or a nation. I'm not trying to confuse leader with controller. Leaders are self-responsible, they're noble, they have integrity, and they perform actions that are worth emulating. People who just want to control are different. They use a different set of tactics. They don't have the same set of rules, typically for themselves, as they do for others. They're filled with hypocrisy. Ugh. Okay, what about drugs? Similar to alcohol, but worse, depending on the drug. It can be far more evil, depending on the drug. Drugs, once the drug demon has its fangs in your neck and its weight is heavy on your back. Have you ever seen someone who's really addicted to drugs? There's a demon on the back, and it is heavy. It causes people to beat others, to murder, to physically harm, to break into vehicles, to disrupt anything. For what purpose? To assuage the whispers of the demon, to get money for drugs. I don't care how you do it. Someone addicted to hard drugs is hardly in possession of their body, but when they're done snorting or they're exhaling their last hit or the syringe drops to the floor, they're not in control at all. Then the demon has full authority and it does nothing good. And then guess what happens? The small amount of purity that is still left in the person when they come out of the haze from the demon controlling them, they're introduced to all the havoc that was wreak havoc. It sounds weird when you do it the other way. From the demon. And they're the ones that are left to deal with it. But guess what they won't do? They won't deal with it. Why? Because the demon wants more money for more drugs. And you oblige because anything for you, my lovely demon. Okay, what about media? Some media. Does what you watch have the ability to host something unpure? I would say yes, some media does. Because some media wants you to strive for money, power, beauty, muscle only. They promote aesthetics. Let's call it aesthetics. I understand that men are attracted to beauty and women are attracted to security. Fine, that's all well and fine. But when you have a society that concentrates on promoting only those things, there's no encouragement for people to make sure that under the aesthetic beauty is spiritual or mental beauty. Most media is not promoting people to be self-reliant and emotionally fit, and that's a bad thing. That's demonic. I'm not saying that the possession of beauty or power is bad in and of itself. But when society has set a game up to get people to believe that that's the only game in town and the game is cutthroat and you have to play, that's bad. Okay, what about content? Content. What about content? This one's easy to spot, I think. Does the content you consume promote blame or hate or any other demon? Who do you blame and for what? Who do you hate and for why? Is that doing you any good? Any good? Does certain content make you dislike, hate, blame, vilify, want to silence, mock, or destroy an individual or a group? What is the benefit of that? Really? Honestly, how is that empowering you? It's not. I would say that it either keeps you immobile, you can't change X, you can't change until X changes, which is out of your control. So now you're helpless and weak. No wonder you're pissed off. So now you're feeling and thinking small. That's bad. That's evil. Or it makes you feel mobile, but the mobility is fueled by evil, by hate. It gets you to move your mind and then your mouth and then your body against someone or some group. Plank, splinter, eye, something like that. Okay, what about basics? What about food? Do you consume food to fuel the goodness of your body, the purity of your body? Or do you use it to make you so big that you feel small? The list goes on and on and on. And the thing is it's very repetitive, but every one of them is so unique. The realization of this has helped me. I don't know how or why, but I just see things a little bit differently now. I mean, honestly, just in the past couple of weeks, it's really been helpful. So if it can help you, that's great. Do you have a demon? Now that I've said these examples, can you identify a demon that's on your back? And is there anything you can do to flick it off? Is it flickable or do you have to fucking grab it and throw it? How far latched into your neck is it? Is it just starting? Man, if you have a demon that's just starting, like a tick, you can feel it crawling. Before it embeds, you can get it off way easier. Would you do that? Are you going to do that? Do you have any demons, or are you absolutely pure? Do you like being unpure? Do you like your demon? Some people do. I think there's some actually evil people out there who are like, yeah, I mean, I'm a good person, but man, fuck those people, and that's why I'm a piece of shit. That's why I'm a piece of shit. So that goes to the blame, but they don't want to acknowledge this free, gross thing. They'd rather keep it there because it's its fault. And plus they're together. They can spend time together. All right, whatever. Sorry that I've been gone for a while. I always have to wait for a topic to find me. I can't just like go looking. It's a nightmare. But anyway, here I am. I hope this helped you. I think I'm going to go live tomorrow to talk about this because I think there's going to be a lot of people who either say, yes, this was a really good topic, or you are absolutely wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. So I'd like to talk with people about that. Everyone, be well, be pure. Okay, bye.